Yo, what's going on, Serpa Squad? Tanner and Delilah here. Now, all of that footage I just ran a moment ago was something I captured the other day while I was at the Pittsburgh Zoo. Now, what I was doing there really brings things full circle for me as a hobbyist. I was inspiring a classroom full of youngsters on how to design reptile enclosures like this around animals such as this crested gecko. So for me, that was such a cool thing because at that age, 13, 14, that's really when I started to take this sort of thing seriously. And fast forward 14 years, I never could have imagined that I would actually be doing it for a living and even talking to you. And I really have you guys all to thank for just the growth of the channel and all of that sort of thing. I'm seriously so thankful that I have opportunities like that I'm able to share my passions with you and educate different people, whether it be on the camera or in classrooms like that. And I'm just so thankful for all of that. I wanted to tell you guys about it, start the video on a positive note, but I'm gonna get this girl right back into her setup. So something I actually wanted to show you real quick about her enclosure is if you remember when I first set this up, I had a bird's nest fern over in here. Now the thing is that she's a fairly large gecko, so when she got on there, it was just a little bit too delicate for her in the location that it was in. So I put it down here on the ground and I swapped it out with these two Neoregelia bromeliads. Now I got something pretty cool to show you about these. Now the reason I wanted to show you these is not really to show you the bromeliads themselves, although as you can see I've got a really nice selection here that I'm really excited to utilize, but I got these for $9.98 a piece at Home Depot, and for Neos of this size, that's a pretty good deal, and a lot of them actually have multiple plants in a single pot, so if you look out, you could save money that way. So I know that some of them have at least 2 or 3. I want to say there's 16 pots here total, so that's $160 more or less, and I would say it's about 20 plants total, so that's a really good deal for bromeliads of this size. Neos nonetheless, because they typically don't sell them at those stores, and since they've been outside catching all those natural rays, they're looking really good. You of course just have to take the necessary precautions before you use them in your setup, so bleach them out or do something like that, keep them in quarantine for a little bit, but I'm really excited to use these. Now I'm sure that all of my fellow plant people couldn't help but see all of these other plants I have over here as well. I've got some Calathea, some Peperomia, and Hoya, to name a few. Now all of these plants and the bromeliads I just showed are for the new 600-gallon Favarium. Now this is just a small selection that I'm going to be using for the entire setup. I got to get way more, but for the past couple weeks I've just been selecting all of the good stuff that I see to really just make this an awesome setup from the start. And typically I don't do this, but I'll show you my current progress on that. And here's what it's looking like now. I've been feverishly working on it for the past couple of weeks, and I really like the progress thus far. Although I still have a lot of work to do prior to adding the plants. I got some additional hardscape to do, as well as touch-ups on the background, but I can really just picture it with all of that in there, as well as the livestock interacting with all of the different areas that I've created. Like, can't you just picture it? All of the plants just all over the scape and stuff. It's really just gonna look like a slice of the rainforest cut out and stuck right into the animal room here, and it's really deceiving on camera. It looks a lot smaller than it actually is. This thing is taller than me, and it covers most of the wall back here. I'm 6'2", so I'm not a small guy, and yeah, it just looks awesome, and I can't wait to just get this out there. I think it should be another 2 to 3 weeks, give or take, depending on how all of the other projects that I'm working on pan out. But if all goes according to plan, I'm saying 2 weeks, so it'll be like 3 videos from now, but we'll see what happens. So we're here at Petey the goldfish's tank. Now a little bit of backstory on Petey. Last summer I set up my 350-gallon paludarium. Now during that process, I sourced some water hyacinth from the backyard pond, which is where the goldfish are. Shortly after that, I noticed some small fish swimming around the 350, and I didn't want to leave them in there because at some point I was going to add the other fish, so I put them in that paludarium that you saw Petey in. However, of the 3 that I had, only 1 survived, and that of course is Petey. We've been growing him out for almost a year now, and here we are today. So that's a little bit of a backstory on Petey. He's definitely a special fish to us. He's got a huge personality, swims around, he's just his happy-go-lucky self, always greets you, and he's just about 2 inches long right now. I think he's getting a little bit big for this enclosure, and it was never my intent to actually even keep him indoors this long, but my wife took to him like hard. She really loves him, and I know it's going to be tough for her to see him go into the backyard pond, but I built that pond specifically for my goldfish. He is actually their offspring, as I mentioned previously, and I think it's definitely time for him to go back there. I'm sure he'll grow much quicker, and he'll just enjoy being out there with all of his friends, because goldfish, they are a community type of fish. They like being around others of their own kind. So let's get him bagged up and we'll acclimate him outside. It's time to let Petey go. I'll be outside. So I've even been putting this off a little bit longer because it's been really hot the past week, but it just rained. So it's nice and cool right now. I checked the water temps out here compared to the ones outside, and it's only about a 5-degree variance, which is good. I'll show you the pond here in a second. It's doing awesome. But I'm just gonna get Petey floating right here. So as you can see, the pond is still doing extremely well. The water is crystal clear, and all of the other goldfish in here are just super active, loving life, and they're his family after all, so he belongs in here. My wife's over here looking at me. She's having a rough time with this. He's your buddy, huh?
Yeah.
He'll be okay. They're his family.
I'm his family.
I know you're his family. I know you're mama, but this is where he belongs.
No, he doesn't.
Before I set him free, I'll get the other ones fed. Now what I've shown in other videos, what I do is I knock on here first. Just let them know, and they'll all kind of congregate up here. All right, they're ready to go. So it's pretty cool because we have, I guess, 3 generations in here now. And a couple of these fish I've had now for, would you say, like 6 years maybe?
Yeah.
So yeah, like this big orange one here, we've had her for about 6 years. I have a feeling she is Petey's mom, but I'm not totally sure. Okay, so at this point, I think he's been floating long enough. I'm sure that the temperatures have acclimated here. You want to say bye?
Hi, Petey. I love you. You good, okay?
I'll do good out here. So I'm just gonna dump this water straight in. It's fine, it's clean. There he goes. Like, look, he's never had this much room before. He's just zooming now.
Oh,
There he is. He'll be okay. Well, I guess that's all for tonight. We're gonna go in and then I'll check back up on him tomorrow. So here we are the next day. It's been raining all morning, so it's a little bit cloudy looking. Usually it kind of stirs up some stuff. Got a beautiful water lily right there, and all of the goldfish up front here. I do not see Petey right now, but I came down here earlier today and I saw him, so we'll just hang out here for a little bit until we can get him on film. There he is, you see him right there, doing his thing. Man, it's nice to see though. You know, it's obviously it's sad that we don't have him inside anymore, but as I was saying, you know, this is where he belongs. This is his family, and you know, in due time he'll get nice and big. So it's pretty difficult to see him in here right now, so I'll just get some footage of him as the day goes on and just let him do his thing in here. Obviously, it's all totally new to him, so he's being a little shy, which is totally fine. But I say give it a week or so, he'll learn that when I knock on here, that means it's food time. and he'll show up just like all the other fish, but I'm really glad to finally have him in here. And that, my friends, is gonna do it for this one. I'm just hanging out with Dean here, or well, rather, I think he's about done with me, but what you just saw, I recorded a portion of it, but that really wasn't all of what went down. It was honestly pretty tough for my wife to see him go. I mean, he's still around, obviously, but just not having him in the room to see him all the time, interact with him. It's not quite the same thing, but I'm always back there, so it's not really an issue for me. And you know, there's just something special about whenever you build a bond with an animal, like Dean, for example. I've had him for like 14 years now, and he's a special snake. And, you know, the same goes with, you know, everything that you keep, whether it be a frog, a fish, a dog, or cat, something like that. Those are the more obvious things. But even, you know, animals like this, they might not show affection per se, but they become a part of your life. And whenever things change or they pass away or something like that, it just, it's not the same for a little while. But you know what? I'll see Petey, keep my wife updated, of course, and I can't wait to see how he grows and flourishes back there. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys in this one. I'm working on several large-scale projects, many of which I didn't even show in this video, and I had to keep it pretty brief this week. So, as always, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Take care, and peace.